Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Ugyen Wangchuck. He was a young leader who stepped out of a world filled with conflict to unite an entire nation, becoming the very first king of Bhutan. His journey? Well, it's nothing short of a masterclass in leadership.
I mean, just think about that for a second. How on earth does a teenager manage to navigate all these intense power struggles, betrayals, and even open warfare to bring a fractured country together? It sounds pretty much impossible, right?
Well, that impossible-sounding task was the actual reality for our protagonist. We're heading back to 19th century Bhutan, a place and time just defined by these fierce rivalries between powerful regional leaders.
And his journey? It doesn't start in some quiet classroom. Nope, it starts right on the battlefield. Get this. Ugyen Wangchuck was just 14 years old when he joined his father, a really formidable leader named Jigme Namgyal, on a military campaign to crush a rebellion. This wasn't some training exercise. It was his first real taste of the country's deep, deep divisions.
And the danger was immediate. While his father was off fighting, a rival lord actually captured the young Ugyen, holding him hostage. Can you imagine the pressure? To get his son back, his father had to turn around and take the enemy's own family hostage. That one incident tells you everything you need to know about the brutal eye-for-eye politics of that time.
But soon, Ugyen Wangchuck wouldn't have his father to rely on. He was going to have to face these challenges all by himself. His rise was just incredibly fast. By 16, he was made the governor of Paro. That's a huge deal. But just 2 years after that, his powerful father passed away, and suddenly, the enormous weight of trying to unite a nation in total turmoil fell right onto his shoulders.
Now, this is what made him such a different kind of leader. Instead of just keeping that cycle of revenge going, he took a totally new approach. He truly believed in trying to find peace, in forgiving his enemies when he could. But don't get me wrong, he was also ready to be strong and decisive when kindness just wasn't going to cut it. And he was definitely going to need that strength, because his biggest test was lurking just around the corner, in the form of a really dangerous and ambitious rival.
So, in 1882, a man named Senge Namgyal assassinated Ugyen Wangchuck's own uncle, just to seize the powerful position of governor. This wasn't just some political disagreement. It was a direct, violent threat to Ugyen and to the stability of the whole region.
So this created a really stark contrast in leadership styles. On one side, you've got Senge Namgyal, who uses murder and division to grab power, and on the other, you have Ugyen Wangchuck, who's trying to build unity and earn his authority through responsibility. The whole future of Bhutan was going to be decided by which of these two men and which of these ideals came out on top.
A confrontation was absolutely inevitable, and it was all building towards one heck of a dramatic climax.
So Ugyen Wangchuck's first move was a direct one. He led his army to attack his rival's fortress. But it didn't work. Senge Namgyal's forces were just too strong, and Ugyen had to retreat.
Okay, and this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. Seeing that they were at a stalemate, Ugyen's mother, Ashi Pema Choki, she steps in. She plays the diplomat, approaches the enemy, promises peace, and very skillfully arranges a reconciliation meeting.
It was a brilliant, if pretty ruthless, strategy. A huge party was held inside the enemy's own fortress. Senge Namgyal, thinking peace was finally here, let his guard down. But right in the middle of the celebration, Ugyen's men launched a surprise attack, and they completely defeated their unsuspecting rival.
After that victory in the year 1884, Ugyen Wangchuck became the new Trungsa Panlap. He was now, without a doubt, one of the most powerful and respected leaders in all of Bhutan.
But gaining power is one thing. Using it to actually heal a divided nation, that was the real challenge.
To mark the end of this long, bloody conflict, a stupa, which is a Buddhist monument, was built over the remains of the defeated enemies. Now, this wasn't just about celebrating a victory. It was a really powerful symbol of closure and a public promise for a new era of peace.
And here's a perfect example of his leadership. He appointed his own cousin, Dawa Penjor, to a major governorship. So what makes that so amazing? Dawa Penjor had actually opposed him before, but instead of revenge, Ugyen chose reconciliation. He proved that unity was way more important to him than old grudges. So, what's the big takeaway here? Ugyen Wangchuck's success really came from this unique mix of qualities.
He took responsibility, he forgave people, he used his strength wisely, and maybe most importantly, he valued bringing people together way more than he valued settling old scores.
Ultimately, he was a forward thinker. He respected tradition, for sure, but he wasn't trapped by it. He just knew that to build a lasting peace for Bhutan, he had to find new and better ways of leading.
Which kind of leaves us with this final thought. On his way to the top, Ugyen Wangchuck used both the sword and the hand of forgiveness. But his lasting legacy wasn't built on the battles he won. It was built on the enemies he pardoned. So it makes you wonder, what is truly more powerful, a sword or an act of forgiveness?